It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day.
We've got a Final Four. 3 come from Group of 5 schools. 3 are newcomers to the Last Dance. No team better than a 4 seed is in. Last time that happened, that is well before Brian Dacus was born in 1979.
Way before.
Wow.
Before I was even a thought.
Brian Dacus in the house. J-Mo is off this week. What is he, hobnobbing at the Final Four, going to coaches, clinics, kind
From
of
what I've
networking?
heard, yes.
Yeah.
Doing some business down there.
Good for him. I hope it is a good time for sure. He deserves a little bit of R&R. It is Monday, March the 27th. Gorgeous outside. A little cooler, but sunshine, and I think we're going to get a string of very, very good weather. We got lots to talk about today. We got medals coming your way in a minute. Well, I didn't tell you about that.
I'm already prepared, Dave.
Oh, you are. Well, I like to say, love it when you talk to me that way. We got Jason Munns coming your way at about 10:25, and then we'll end the show 10:48, 10:50, somewhere in there, with our friend down in Tampa. That would be T.J. Reeves. I think this is clearly a very interesting Final Four. San Diego State was a 5 seed that a lot of people thought wouldn't get past the first round because wasn't Charleston like the darling in the 12-5 grouping? And it's San Diego State, by the way, a 1.5 favorite over FAU. Eli was pointing out, and I think he's spot on, this is not a team that has won because of their great three-point prowess. This is a team that has been deep, that controls pace, that has defended very well. They've even turned the ball over a bunch and still won games. I will say this, and I'll say it again as I give them a medal here. Doesn't it make you think Memphis would have been in the Final Four?
I mean, you gotta feel some type of way about it. I mean, that team
seriously,
that beat you.
I really, truly believe Memphis was the better team. Memphis should have won the game. The best player on the Memphis team sort of gave it away. Memphis did not get the calls at the end they should have gotten. 2 critical ones on a missed 3 that should have been 3 free throws. Game's over if they get that, or if KD absolutely holds the ball, they win the game, or if they get the timeout they were supposed to be called, they win the game. FAU's not just an afterthought. And now, man, you got to think about FAU and the Memphis rivalry really being good. Here is a CUSA about to become an American team that is in the Final Four. Wow. Does that ever set up for some good games next year? At this moment, and we'll talk with Jason Munns about this, at this moment, with what's in the portal, what's coming back, even with the dynamite recruiting class that Penny has, you'd have to make FAU the favorite because all those guys pretty much are sophomores. I think Gaffney is the only one that transferred from UConn.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to come in, and it's probably going to be 1-2 in the American, Memphis and FAU.
I think it'll be FAU and Memphis.
Oh, sure, yeah. After coming off Final Four, I saw this tweet over the weekend. Oresco is jumping up and down. I mean, the speech he can give to welcome these teams and say, we have a Final Four team, Florida Atlantic, joining the American.
But he can't really say that because he's got to be careful because he takes credit for UConn.
That's true.
Winning winning a national title as a member of the American. So it's CUSA that's going to say they won the title in our league.
Yep.
And he can't say anything about that. Otherwise, he sort of double-crosses himself. But that matchup, San Diego State and FAU, that's a 9 against a 5. That's incredible. San Diego State, by the way, is a 1.5 favorite. And we'll dig into this deeper in the week, but I have no idea. I mean, this thing is all up for grabs. UConn is giving away 5.5 to Miami.
That UConn team might be my new pick to win it all. They looked unbeatable this weekend.
They did. That win over Gonzaga was the most points, 28, in a tournament game since, do you know when?
I have no idea.
Maybe this will ring a bell. The margin of victory by UConn over Gonzaga, that 28-point margin, was the most since 1992.
Also before I was born.
Which is hard to believe. Here we are talking about you're not even born in 92. Wow. But do you know what was significant in 1992? You should know this if you're going to be a historian of your alma mater.
I don't know.
That was the year Penny Hardaway's Tigers played Cincinnati, lost 4 times. Each time they lost by a bigger margin. The final one was in an Elite Eight game, like this one was, and Memphis lost to the Bearcats by 31. So that's the biggest margin of victory in an Elite Eight game since 1992. 31 points was the difference then. This was 28. Hey, there was just crazy stuff that was obviously happening over the weekend. I think as much as I like Jim Larinaga and Miami, he's going to get a medal from me here too. You know, you got to kind of feel like UConn just seems to be the team of destiny here. They just are killing people. And I do remember when UConn was still in the American and Hurley's teams were getting killed. And he was acting like the most insane idiot you'd ever see. He'd get to center circle and he'd smack, and he'd get on his hands and knees and start smacking the center circle at UConn. I remember him doing this in a game Memphis was playing. And I'm thinking, he is literally nuts. And I think he's toned it down a little bit. I hope so. Because he's just a crazed man when he's coaching. But he said then, take your licks now because we're going to turn the tables. And man, has Danny Hurley and UConn ever turned the tables. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studio. You still got another few days to enjoy the preseason patio and pool sale. I don't know if it'll be extended. I got to get a hold of Leslie, of Billy, and everybody over there. But I know for sure it's going to continue until the month comes to an end, and that's where you're going to get preseason pricing. Just incredible selection of patio furniture. And then with the way the pools are going, you get ahead of the summer rush. You get special early bird pricing, and you're the first one to put your names on the installation list. So I would do that right now. I'd get there today before this is over. And you're in on early bird pricing, and, well, there's free layaway, and there's all kinds of financing that's going on there. So if I'm you, I'd get to I-40 and Wooden Road and take care of your family with the preseason patio and pool sale. You know our title sponsor, that's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where if you would like a Genesis luxury car, in particular, there's a deal right now. Vinny has told me, Vinny is the guy. You'll love him. He's a Canadian guy. And Vinny is the one that has concocted this new deal where if you agree to finance with Genesis, you can get a G70 and they'll give you a $1,000 rebate. Basically, they're paying you to do business with them. All you got to do is head on over, get down Lamar. It's Highway 78, first exit Mississippi, turn left. That's Craft Road. And there you'll see Chris True and all the gang and Vinny Gerard. That's the guy you got to ask for to get the deal on a Genesis at Homer Skelton Hyundai. All right, you're prepared, I'm prepared. Let's do precious metals. Bronze medal to FAU. 9 seed? Oh, that's still really good for the AAC because it sets up that rivalry with Memphis. It gives the AAC prestige in the future. And to think that they made it and Houston leaving the conference did not, it's almost a little yin and yang. So, it still makes me wonder, as I said earlier, what would have happened if Memphis had won that game like they should have? I give 2 silver medals. One goes to the Grizz. 151 points against Houston. What they do? Win by 37 in that game? And that doesn't happen all the time. 151 points. My goodness, I was watching portions of that game, and I'm like at the half, I go, they scored 83 points and a half. It's crazy. There's no way they would keep that up, and they did. Just about 151 points. That's incredible. Then, fresh off that win, we all know how tough the road has been for them this year. They go to Atlanta and beat Atlanta 123-119. So now they've won 6 in a row, and they keep their 2-game lead over Sacramento. So now you're up 2 with 8 games to go. And you got Orlando at home tomorrow. You've got the best record in the NBA at home. What is it, 32-5, I believe. Sacramento plays Minnesota at home tonight. They'd be the favorites in that game. So that'll knock it down to a game and a half. You just got to keep winning. If you keep winning, they can't catch you. That's for sure. And the second one goes to Miami, the second silver medal. The Hurricane down 13 in the second half, and Jim Larrañaga becomes just the 15th coach ever to take 2 or more schools to a Final Four. He did it with James Mason many, many years ago. And here's the other cool part. He's only the 4th coach ever to take 2 programs with seeds 5 or above to Final Fours. So he joins Larry Brown. He joins Tom Izzo. And he joins Brad Stevens as the only coaches ever to take 2 schools, or 2 teams, I shouldn't say, because Stevens took Butler both times, and Izzo took Michigan State both times. Larrañaga, though, was able to do it with 2 different schools. I think Larry Brown as well, where they were above 5 seeds and still got to the Final Four. That's pretty heady stuff. And then I'm going to give 2 golds. One's to UConn, beating teams by an average of 22 points. And I mentioned the 28-point murder of Gonzaga. How could you hold Drew Timme to 12 points? It's just like impossible. He did have some foul trouble. But that's the biggest winning margin since 1992 in an Elite 8 game, 28 points. That's incredible. And then I got to give a gold medal to Caitlin Clark. Who is she? She's the star of Iowa, who had a 40-point triple-double in an Elite 8 game yesterday to send Iowa over Louisville to get to the women's Final Four. She's the first woman or man, first person ever to get a 40-point triple-double in the NCAA tournament. That would include, like, what, a 16 versus a 1? We've never seen that? A 40-point triple-double? She had 40 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. And she did that in an Elite 8 game, let alone in the NCAA tournament. So she's the first person ever that deserves a gold medal.
Whew, that's crazy. For my bronze, I'm going to go with really just college basketball this weekend, but mainly UConn. What I saw from UConn in their 2 games this weekend, they're my favorite to win the whole thing. They looked unbelievable. Against Gonzaga, the team I thought was going to win the whole thing, they just completely wiped the floor with them. So that gets my bronze medal. My silver medal, I'm going to give it to Jordan Walker, who was just named to the opening day roster for the St. Louis Cardinals at 20 years old.
Oh, I saw that.
This guy is, I don't know where he's, like top 5 in most prospect rankings, but he's like 6'6", 6'7", about 220. I mean, a big guy, could play linebacker anywhere in the country. But they moved him to left field last year because obviously he can't play third base. That's his natural position.
Well, you got
a Gold Glove All-Star at third base.
Yeah, a guy named Arenado.
Yeah, so they moved him to the outfield. I think he's probably going to open in right field. But being able to switch from third base to outfield at the AA level and be able to take that to the MLB this spring training and prove yourself to be on the opening day roster, that's pretty impressive. So he gets my silver.
Obviously, you are a Cardinal fan.
I am, and I'm very excited about the baseball season. I don't know if you can tell. I'll probably talk a lot of baseball on these airwaves this week. I can't wait. My gold medal, I have 2. I added one on the fly. It's just hockey. I went to my first ever hockey game this weekend. Dave, I don't know how many hockey games you've ever been to, NHL hockey games. It is unbelievable.
You don't want to know.
It's a completely different world. I love hockey.
Oh, hockey is incredible. It's one of the great spectator sports of all inside the arena.
Unbelievable.
Now, the first time I ever went to a hockey game, there were only 6 teams in the NHL.
Oh, wow.
They did not wear helmets.
Even better.
It was seriously more intimate that way.
Oh, sure.
It was literally about as cool, because what you don't understand and what you don't pick up on TV is you can't follow the puck as well on TV. You can in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand the grace and the beauty of the skating.
It's unreal.
Because their skating skills are phenomenal. And you don't hear the skates and the ice and the puck hitting the boards. You do in the arena. So I've said this forever. And, I was the original voice of the Memphis River Kings when they first came here. So I've seen
Countless
a zillion hockey games. I love that sport in the arena. It's just great. It's just a shame. And Fox tried different things like having a trail to the puck, and it didn't work.
No.
It's just not a great TV sport, but you can't beat it once you go in the arena. Saying you learned that this weekend.
I did. I'm a Seattle Kraken fan, so they were in town to play Nashville.
Why a Seattle fan?
My buddy.
Why not a St. Louis Blues fan if you're a Cardinals fan?
My buddy is a massive Nashville fan, and so when I was he was like, "You got to get into hockey. You got to get into hockey." So I was like, "Fine, I'll get into hockey." The year I started following hockey was the year that they started the Kraken. So I was like, if I'm going to be a new fan, I might as well be a fan of the new team. So I've been following for the last 2 years. They were in town to play Nashville. Me and my girlfriend went. She was amazed by it. She's not a huge sports fan, but she loved being there for hockey. It was awesome. We were like 3 rows back. We had great seats. Honestly, I've been to a lot of sporting events in my life. Might have been the most fun I've ever had at a sporting event.
There you go.
It was great. My second gold medal goes to being in Nashville this weekend. A restaurant called ML Rose. It is like a little local neighborhood pub in East Nashville. If you're going up to Nashville, you've got to go to this place. Best cheeseburger I've ever had. And they have a dessert that's like a skillet cookie. They make it there, so it takes a while. It's like 30, 40 minutes to wait on it. Didn't know that before I ordered it. Best thing I've ever had. It's unbelievable.
Do you have ice cream on that?
Yeah, it's ice cream and whipped cream on top. Best dessert.
Wow.
No, best food I've ever had.
Wow. What a weekend you had. Very good. All right. Russ medals, I have 2. I'm going to start with Brandon Miller and maybe Alabama. Brandon Miller ended up 8 for 41 in the tournament. That's under 20% shooting for a guy who is considered a lock to be one of the top 3 picks in this year's NBA draft. I put this on Alabama, and I should preface this by saying I don't know how much of this was the pressure that he felt or the groin injury that he had, because we know, all you got to do is look at Alo, how long it takes to come back, be 100% from a groin injury, and I'm not sure Brandon Miller was. But Alabama and Nate Oates handled that. How do I term it? The Brandon Miller case with bringing a gun to a crime scene that was used in a murder and no penalty on the player at all. They handled it so poorly by not sitting this guy down, talking with him, maybe sitting him out a few games to ease the public scrutiny. They handled it so poorly that I think the pressure just kept mounting and mounting and mounting. And when it first happened, the guy actually played really well. But sooner or later, it caught up with him. So I don't know if it's the groin injury or the way Alabama handled Brandon Miller, but it finally cracked. And that's part of the reason why this team went down in flames. I've heard the karma stuff. I don't buy the karma stuff, but I do buy the pressure on the kid. And it took its toll, I think, in the long run. And then I got to give a rust to the Power 5. The Power 5 had 29 bids into the NCAA tournament. SEC had 8. Brian, is there any SEC team in the Final Four?
Not that I know of.
Big 12 had 7. Brian, is there any Big 12 team in the Final Four?
Not that I know of.
Big 10 had 8. Brian, is there any Big 10 team in the Final Four?
Well, if you go to the NIT, there is. Wisconsin's in the Final Four in the NIT.
No.
Wrong tournament.
We're talking NCAA, the real deal. Pac-12 got 4. Brian, is there any Pac-12 team in the Final Four?
0.
No, there is not. The ACC, excuse me. How many did they have?
Uno.
I think they had just the one.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, the whole conference. They have one in the Final Four. Virginia was in there.
Oh, yeah.
They probably had 3 or 4.
I thought I wrote down the AC. I forgot to put down the ACC. I think they had 2 or 3.
Yeah, they at least had 2. Pitt was in the play-in game and made it in. So that's
but it was
one.
the least amount of any of the Power 5.
That was bad. It was a down year for the ACC.
And what happened? They have 1. Otherwise, we got the Big East, which did get 5 in, and that's UConn. We got the Mountain West. Well, they had 4. They actually were a pretty good league. And then you had CUSA had 1. It's really crazy. The Power 5, 29 bids. Well, actually more, because I didn't count the ACC. But in the 30s, and only 1 team from that grouping. They get a rust.
That's insane. My rust, Dave, I don't know if you heard about this story over the weekend. I just saw it on Twitter in passing, and I had to dig a little deeper. The Memphis Americans that play indoor soccer down in South Haven. I think you used to be on the call for the Americans back in the day.
The original Americans in 1983.
Yeah. Dave, what have you not
That's before
called?
you were born.
My dad always said I need to call you Boat when I talk to you.
Well, that's because I was on the Showboats team, yeah.
But this weekend, the Americans were playing the Tampa Bay Strikers. And so how they do it is a team, when they come in, they'll stay for 2 days, and you'll play 2 days of games. Well, Saturday night, the Tampa Bay Strikers played the Memphis Americans, and things got chippy on the field.
In South Haven?
In South Haven at the Landers Center.
Okay.
Things got chippy out on the pitch.
You know, there's men and women. They play doubleheaders.
Yeah, that's right. But with the men, it got a little chippy on the pitch. And after the game, supposedly down in the tunnels around the locker room area, I guess one of the Memphis American players was out in the hallway and got rushed by several Tampa Bay Strikers players, starting a fight, which all the Tampa Bay Striker players came out of their locker room to go jump in on this, and it turned into just a beating of this Memphis Americans player. So both teams were out there fighting each other before the Sunday game.
Wow.
So a rust for the Tampa Bay Strikers. Leave it on the pitch.
Man, they ambushed
the
player.
That's from what I could understand on Twitter. They just started attacking him.
Wow. That is crazy. I wondered, I'm going to give a rust to the Americans marketing.
That's right.
I had no idea they were I knew they were supposed to come back and play. I think there's actually another team or 2 in that league.
Yeah. I think there's like 4 or 5 teams, maybe. It's a very
it's
small
It's
league.
not called the Major Indoor Soccer League. It's not the MISO like it used to be, but it's part of whatever Indoor Soccer League. I think it's the only one still in existence. And I actually went to a game, a doubleheader last year, and enjoyed it. Enjoyed the heck out of it.
It's part of the NISL.
The National Indoor Soccer League. That's
there
what
are
it is.
5 teams. One team is on hiatus.
That's one more than it was last year.
I guess so, yeah. Central Florida Crusaders, that's the new team. Yeah, they were founded in 2022.
Well, I wish it the best of luck, but they're not going to have much luck if they don't market it.
I had no idea the season even started.
I didn't know. So who was at the game yesterday?
I don't know. There was a guy covering it for that new Bluff City Media. They have like a soccer team or something people covering soccer. I thought he was talking about the 901 FC game. Then I dug in a little deeper. He's talking about the indoor soccer team.
Crazy. And those are our precious metals. We got Jason Munz right around the corner. This portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at Old Dominick. Old Dominick is a place that is really cool in a lot of different ways. One, if you don't know what Old Dominick is, they are the proud hometown distillery. They're making spirits on Main Street, all a part of Memphis. It really goes all the way back to Old Dominico Canale. You get to learn all about the history. It's a 45-minute sensory journey if you want to take the tour. It ends with a tasting in the bar, but you can just go to the bar and check out the tasting. And no, you can get any of their products, especially the new releases from this master distiller Alex Castle, in any of the spirit shops, including the spirit shop at Poplar and St. Nick, you can get those products all over town, and they are all made right here, and they have been for a long, long time. And Alex has just released these two beautiful whiskeys. One's bottle and bond, the other's a sipping whiskey. She never releases it till it's perfect. I'm telling you, they're perfect. Go check it out. You'll love all the products at Old Dominic. We'll take a break. When we come back, we talk Tigers and what they're doing. Where's the portal going? Who have been the signees? Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal comes your way in a minute.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Calling all the Mid-South. Bobby J is waiting for your call today to drive off in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Soul LX $333 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia K5 LXS $362 a month, $31.99 due at signing. And 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive $381 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. And if you can't find what you're looking for, let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus, Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars. All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866 988, MSRP 22,945. K5 PG 200 400, MSRP 26,455. Sportage PG 107 225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance 200. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Spring is in the air, and that can only mean one thing: spring grilling. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to spring into something delicious with their semi-annual sale. With 50% off site-wide, grab all your favorites like perfectly aged tender steaks, ocean fresh seafood, juicy burgers, incredible air-chilled chicken, and decadent desserts. Plus, when you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code HOT at checkout, you'll get an additional $30 off your order. It's the perfect way to get fired up and spring into something special. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use code HOT at checkout and take advantage of this deal. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, and you're going to want to hurry because 50% off site-wide is only happening for a limited time. So don't miss your chance to save. Visit omahasteaks.com. Use code HOT at checkout and get an additional $30 off when you shop their semi-annual sale today. Minimum order may be required.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We're going to talk some Tiger hoops here in a second with Jason Munz. Before we do that, I meant to mention this earlier. There's not a rust or a gold or any kind of metal. It's just sad. You know, Brett used to do cheers, jeers, and then every once in a while tears. And so I'm going to do tears on this one. I'm sad Katrina Merriweather did such an amazing job. I don't know that you could do a better job than what Katrina Merriweather did in 2 years of changing a culture.
Unbelievable.
She took a team that had won 4 games the year before and won 16 games her very first year, and then wins 22 her second year and parlays that, unfortunately, into leaving. She had sold-out crowds for 2 WNIT games, totally changed the culture, got them winning, showed everybody what can happen at the El Marone if you have a winning women's basketball program. But, her alma mater came calling. You can't be mad at her for going to her alma mater. And although, we'll see what they do now. They're going to a Power 5. They're going to the Big 12 at Cincinnati. And she had said to me earlier she did not want to be in a Power 5. I'm sure that changes when, you have the chance. But I don't think they were getting the same perks like charter airplanes. I don't think they chartered every game at Cincy. Now, maybe that'll change with her new deal, but, man, it's sad to see her go. Jason Munz, every week. We've got a couple more weeks for them. Brought to you by the good folks at Conway. Don't forget that $69 air conditioning tune-up. I know this morning you might not think you need it, but we're going to get back in the 70s like we were this weekend soon, and you want to make sure that your air conditioning system will work. And in the long run, this saves you money, because if you get the $69 tune-up now, you don't have to worry about any kind of major breakdown in the summer, because they will make it hum. It's efficient, and efficiency means you're saving money on your MLGW bill. And, by the way, you keep your system in tune, it lasts longer. 3 reasons why to spend the $69 with Conway. 384-3511, or you can go to conwayservices.com and get all the conditions, the terms, and the details. Jason Munz joins us now. When you see Florida Atlantic in the Final Four, don't you think that could have been the Tigers?
As the dominoes have fallen, yes. I think that Memphis matches up as well with some of these teams that FAU has beaten as much or better than FAU has. With the possible exception of Kansas State, I mean, that one, I think that would have been a really tough matchup for Memphis, and obviously, I mean, I think it was a tough matchup for FAU, but obviously it was their night, and so.
By the way, that in my estimation, that was a foul. I mean, the guy grabs him, right? There's a lot of people that think, you don't call a foul in that situation. I think you do. I think it affected his attempt, and therefore, I think you got to call it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But no, yeah, I mean, like I do think that as the chips have sort of fallen the way they have, getting FAU getting Tennessee in the Sweet 16. I mean, call me crazy, but I think whether it's a good matchup for Memphis or not against that Tennessee team without its point guard Ziegler, I think being on that stage against that team, I mean, it certainly could in Tennessee's favor as well. But I'm not convinced that Memphis wouldn't have gone out there and just done every single thing it could do to make sure that it eliminated Tennessee from the NCAA tournament. So yeah, I mean it's definitely it's an easy road to go down with the way things have played out, to think, dang, Memphis had a shot at being where FAU is.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt that continues to make my stomach churn. All right, so let's get into what's going on. Ian Granja, since we last spoke, has transferred. I don't think that's a major surprise, or is it heartbreaking to the Tigers? That really has very little, I think, in the long run, and any kind of effect. So basically,
if anything, I think it helps.
Yeah. And KO decided to go pro, so good luck to him.
Same thing. If anything, I mean, shot blocker extraordinaire, but everything else needed a lot of work.
So here's what we got from a recruiting class still coming in. We know signing their papers were Ashton Hardaway, J.J. Taylor, who's like a 4.5 to 5-star, Mikey Williams, who is a 5-star, and Carl Sharonfont. Are all 4 of those guys going to be on campus come fall?
I think as we sit here today, the thought is that they will. But there are some, I mean, it's never done until it's done, I think. And if anything, if Penny has shown us anything over the last couple of years, it's that, it's never done until it's actually done. And I know that these players have signed, their letters of intent, but I mean, anything can happen, right? And I'm not saying any one of these things will happen, but I mean, let's face it, grades are a factor. It could be anything. It could be a player changes his mind. It could be a player gets hurt. It could be, I don't know, it has signed with a Nike school, but they are a Puma sponsor. They're sponsored by Puma.
Well, you're talking about Mikey Williams when you say that.
Hey, I didn't name names. I'm not. I'm not naming names.
I think that's pretty common knowledge. When you're specific about the shoe deal, that tells us it all.
Yeah. No. I was kidding. Everybody knows that I'm talking about Mikey Williams there, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what if that turns into a sticking point? Yeah. So everything that I know, everything that I've been told is that we sit here today on March, whatever it is, I don't even know anymore, that those 4 guys will be here. I feel certain beyond any shadow of any doubt that Sharon Font will be here, that Ashton Hardaway will be here. I'm confident that Mikey and JJ will be here, but again, anything can happen.
All right. It's interesting since you bring it up. This was not on the docket to talk about, but I do wonder, now that players can make their own NIL deals, shoe companies have made deals with the school, really the coach, right? So coaches, well, I guess in the case of the Memphis staff, they do wear new shoes almost every game. Mm-hmm. But in the old days, they were all wearing dress shoes. Coaches never really wore gym shoes. The shoes were always worn by the players. Now that the NIL has come out for individual players, this is going to be a sticky thing where the shoe companies just might start giving them to the players instead of the coaches or the teams.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that not this past season, but the season before, the 21-22 season with Imani Bates. We saw him before he left the team, the program, temporarily with his biomechanical back spasms.
Yeah.
His growth spurt that caused him some back pain. His very sudden growth spurt that caused him some back issues. All the players went on Instagram, social media, and were posting photos and videos of the Nikes that he gave to the entire team. And so, yeah, I mean, we've seen it already, yeah. And I'm sure that we will see it. We will see it more in the future.
Yeah. All right. So, David Tubick, you wrote, he's decommitted. There's Ryan Forrest and there's Tyler Johnson, who's the point guard. Both those guys committed, never signed. What's their status?
I think they're still, in neutral. April 12th is the first day of the regular signing, is what they call the regular signing period. Back in November was the early signing period, and that's when those other 4 guys signed. Tubick, Johnson, and Forrest were I mean, obviously Tubeck is past tense. Johnson and Forrest are waiting for April 12th. But as we just saw, just because you're committed, just because you've been committed since October or November, does not mean that you are going to eventually sign with Memphis. I mean, again, Tubeck was committed since November, and just yesterday went public with his decision to decommit. So I think we're just still kind of, until further notice, they're committed, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to sign.
So that gets us to who's in the portal, because Memphis, even if all these guys show up, you don't have a team. You've got coming back on paper the Lawsons, which you just wrote a nice story. Their dad saying they're coming back for sure. Mm-hmm. You've got Jaden Hardaway, although he doesn't have to come back because he's literally graduated, but he's going to come back to play with his brother, I would assume.
Yep.
You've got Jameer Young, who I guess redshirted this year or whatever they're doing with that, who's a rebounding fiend, who was a pretty good star recruit out of high school, and he transferred from SMU. He did not have any numbers while he was at SMU, but I know Penny thinks he's a terrific rebounder. You've got Malcolm Dandridge, who could come back, does not come back. So that means you better have some folks coming your way in the portal. Who are you hearing is coming back, or who is going to come from the portal?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, give or take one or two, I think we're looking at coming from the portal somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4 to 5, give or take.
Okay.
I think that's what is going to. That's going to be the number that Memphis is going to be looking at there. As far as guys who are currently in the portal, there's a couple that I think there's at least a good, decent, significant level of mutual interest on both sides. One is T. Leonard Jr. He is he's kind of a better version of Elijah McCadden.
Okay.
Has not put up a ton of great numbers. He's a Middle Tennessee guy, but athleticism is through the roof. He's actually, as we sit here already today, Jonathan Gavoni, ESPN's draft guru, this T. Leonard is a projected second-round pick for next year's draft.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously they look at upside, and they don't necessarily base it on production or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of it feels kind of like a Josh Minot possible situation here. Somebody who is kind of coming out of nowhere.
And how big is he?
I don't have it in front of me. He's like 6'7",
okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So so you got him, and then you got Quez Glover, who is he spent the past 2 seasons at Samford in the Southern Conference and been pretty good there. Before that, he spent 2 seasons at Florida. He's a 6 foot, listed at 6 foot point guard.
Okay.
And just a very experienced guy. Penny has seen him. I mean, obviously he hasn't played him during his head coaching career at Memphis, but he played him. He saw this guy, Quez Glover, in the state tournament, the high school state tournament, his last year as East coach. Quez is from Knoxville originally and played at Bearden. Played at Bearden High School. Yeah.
What about Caleb Battle?
Caleb Battle, yeah. I mean, that one, there was some talk about him early on, and I think there is still something there, but it's not quite as close to the finish line as I think it felt like it was, a week or two ago. So Not saying that means anything. I mean, it's certainly,
Right.
things change every day, multiple times a
Well,
day.
he can certainly play almost 18 points a game, but this would be his third school. And he was basically kicked off the team, or he quit because he was that upset with Aaron McKee, who's no longer at Temple, by the way. So
Yep.
we'll see on that one. We'll have plenty more to talk about in the next couple of weeks, and we may have to keep you. I forgot about that signing April 12th, so we got to keep you through that.
All right.
And we'll go from there. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it as always.
All right. Thanks, Wolo.
That is our guy from the Commercial Appeal, Jason Munz, on basketball and the Tigers. And basketball's about all we hear at this time of the year, right? Glued to the games coming up to those championships, that Final Four in Houston. But if you got real estate on your mind, I got your guy. I got your point guard. Because, you may not remember every point guard on every team, but you'll always remember the best point guard for your real estate team, and that's Shell Dunn. Shell Dunn, Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. You remember him because they call him Shell Dunn. You want to know why? He gets the job done. He's the quickest to sell with the best price. He knows the strategy. It's a successful strategic marketing program that makes the difference in how much you make and how quickly you will make it. And because of his connection to one of the largest real estate relocation networks, he can also arrange an agent to help you in your new location. That's why his email is memphisrelocate.com. So, you want the best point guard for your team? When it comes to real estate, nobody does it better than Shell Dunn. 483-0546. Back in a minute, we go to Tampa. Our friend TJ Reeves is standing by. He comes your way in a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Calling all the Mid-South. Bobby J is waiting for your call today to drive off in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Soul LX $333 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia K5 LXS $362 a month, $31.99 due at signing. And 2023 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive $381 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. And if you can't find what you're looking for, let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus, Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold P7866,988, MSRP 22,945. K5 PG 200, MSRP 26,455. Sportage PG 107,225, MSRP 29,790. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance 200. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/31/2023. Dealer stock only. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Let's go to Tampa. Our friend TJ Reeves standing by. Got to get his take on this Final Four. It's historic. Only one from the Power Five and not one seed better than a 4 seed. What's your take on that one, Mr. Reeves? Good morning.
Well, good morning. And the more we watch, the less we know, right?
Right.
I cannot believe I saw this, that there are literally several thousand brackets in the ESPN contest of like 20 million brackets. There's several thousand that have this Final Four. I can't believe that.
Well, you know, those are the people that just they did like 1,000 each, right? They just did various combinations.
Either that, or it's the people picking that know nothing but colors and mascot names and where do their friends and relatives live. Which, by the way, my now almost 15-year-old twins, we're getting old, Wolo. They both outpicked me on that very premise of mascots, colors, where friends and relatives live, and they outpicked me in the bracket.
Wow.
So there you go. But I actually think this is a good thing. I haven't been able to hear you this morning. I mean, we of course understand that Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Michigan State, North Carolina, Syracuse, UCLA, those are the names that are always associated with this event. But I don't think it's a bad thing that we get new blood. We get 3 first-timers. I think it enhances it and enhances the drama. What about you?
I'm with you. I think it's outstanding. You know, last year we had Blue Bloods, right? It was just a year ago. Didn't we have Kansas won it? North Carolina was in it. Villanova was in it.
North Carolina playing Duke in Coach K's Final Four, and it turns out to be his final game as a loss to North Carolina. So obviously, those storylines are different and massive. But this is not a bad thing to have Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, and Miami in there for the first time. All I know, you know that I'm in the state of Florida. You know I'm about 3 hours to the northwest of Miami. It's down the southeastern part of the state. They're going to clean out the retirement communities and everything else to come to Houston. They are, from Boca Raton down to Miami, they are headed to Houston. Look out. It's hilarious.
You're right. Are they spending their hard-earned 401ks that have been so good until now?
Whatever's left on the retirement, on the Social Security. Yes, but I mean, what's interesting is Miami is you know this, Miami's a private institution, and there's a lot of money in that school. And I know that if the NCAA had their druthers, they would have wanted Texas just for the amount of fans that would be in and around the event with Austin's proximity to Houston. But don't be surprised if there's 10 or 15,000 Miami fans that are going to be there. I don't know what Florida Atlantic brings. San Diego State will probably bring like 5,000, 10,000 fans. UConn will easily have the most because of the tradition.
Right.
So that'll be fun to watch later this week.
They don't have to worry about selling tickets to the Final Four.
No.
That's already built in, and no, that part is going to be terrific. Do you think Dusty May will coach in the American next year, or is he going to parlay this into something better?
Well, what's the other job at the moment that makes sense?
I don't know.
They're going to give him a significant raise, and he's been there. This is, I believe, his 4th season or his 5th season, and this is obviously the year that if you're going to jump, you would jump. But I don't know what he jumps to. Texas Tech is in the Power 5, but supposedly Grant McCaslin, the North Texas coach, is going to take that. And obviously North Texas, Florida Atlantic, UAB, they're all coming into the American Conference coming up. So Andy Kennedy's name might get kicked around. But right now, I mean, if you're Andy Kennedy, you're taking a step up in conference here. You're making good money. He made good money before at Ole Miss. I don't know. But on Dusty May,
that's his alma mater, too.
Yeah, and that's his alma mater. Where does Dusty May plug in?
I don't know.
Is the key.
Well,
I don't know.
You
that
know
answer.
what? I got to ask you, or tip my cap to you. When we reported that Mike Bray was possibly going to USF, you were the first to say, "Wait a second, that's one guy on some minor distribution site."
And a week later, is Mike Bray the USF coach?
No.
We talked about that briefly last Monday.
And apparently Ryan Odom from Utah State is more talked about at this point.
And again, is that? I mean, it's Florida, but USF's program is so dormant, and the American Conference isn't rolling out big money to the schools. You wonder if Ryan Odom doesn't wait for a better job in the Pac-12, maybe, or one of those. If it's there, I don't know. I don't know what USF's going to do. And there was some talk. Well, would Dusty May come over to Tampa? It's a lateral move. It's a lateral move in the same conference. So I don't see that either, Wolo.
You will be in Houston. We'll talk to you next Monday about a title game. Who's going to be in the title game?
I think it's San Diego State and UConn is probably what your title game matchup is. And of course, me saying that, look out for an all South Florida Atlantic Miami instead, the opposite. Welcome to 2023.
The way UConn's playing, it's hard to think that they would lose. I'm with you, and I don't know. The San Diego State FAU game is such an even matchup. It'll be just tons of fun to watch. Thank you, TJ. We appreciate it as always.
Always good to be with you, my friend. And here we go with the madness. I look forward to being with you from Houston. See ya.
You got it. That is our man in Tampa. That is TJ Reeves. He is brought to you by the Spirit Shop. That's Eddie Connor's place, right at Poplar in St. Nick. There's always good things to celebrate. He's got an anniversary celebration coming up this coming weekend, so I know he's all stocked up. He never has to worry. But you may be out after watching the Final Four. You got to restock up after, I should say, the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. Stock up. That's the place to do it. Eddie Connor is right at the corner, that Spirit Shop is, of St. Nick and Poplar. That's 4848 Poplar. It's that little log cabin straight down from Clark Tower. You've passed it by a million times. Inside, not so little, plenty of product. The rarest of bourbons, the best of the bargains in tequila, or if you want high-end, they've got that too. Same thing with wines. You can get the up-and-comers. You can get the middle ground. You can get some rare ones, and he's got that. He's got it all right there. Go in. You'll get educated on spirits at the Spirit Shop at Poplar in St. Nick. That does it for me and for Bryant. You can hear him a little bit later today once again. Johnny Rady, who I understand has won our in-house Final Four bracket. He could be beyond reproach when he comes in, but he's next. Stick around for that. We'll see you tomorrow.
All 650 acquisition fee